black smoke in Escort. Let me just now go through a couple of the points as part of this TSB and highlight certain things that we've already done. We've already issued OASIS messages and a previous TSB, number 60 of 94, which covered some of the issues that needed to be resolved. That TSB covered certain things like blocked air intakes, not only blocked air intakes at the front here, but also some of the other air intake concerns of the zip tube down the front. The first major thing that you should be checking is the EGR module connection to its multi-plug. We know that some of the vehicles left the factory without this multi-plug connected. Ensure that that multi-plug is securely fitted. That will overcome a certain number of the concerns. If you then follow the EGR system around, you've got to check the vacuum hoses, check the vacuum hoses for kinks, and you've also got to check the EGR valve. That valve can easily become jammed open by carbon deposits. The next thing that needs to be checked is the intercooler hoses and its connections. We've already issued a TSB number 32 of this year, which covered the security of the intercooler inlet hose. I have one over here. We had the problem with this hose deforming and splitting. We've then come up with revised hoses and revised clips. That hose is the hose down here, and it connects the turbo outlet to the intercooler inlet. You've then got to check the intercooler and the intercooler outlet connection where it connects into the inlet manifold. We have the situation where some of the intercoolers, when we have a leaking hose or a badly secured intercooler, they will leak oil. The system is designed to have misting oil being fed from the intercooler into the inlet manifold. This misting oil is fed by the breather system down into the turbo and then up into the intercooler. We have had vehicles which, for various reasons, have been clogged up with oil in the intercooler. If you suspect that an intercooler is clogged up, that certainly needs to be removed, and you need to drain this collected oil within the system. For the intercooler to function correctly, it is very important that its cooling air supply is not restricted. We have found on certain vehicles that the NVH panel here, which is a two-skinned panel which channels the air from the front of the hood down to the top of the intercooler, that is restricted by the upper skin of the panel closing off the air supply. We're about to issue a TSB which details the fitment of this little clip here. It's a spacer clip which goes into the hood here and holds the two parts of the NVH panel apart, allowing a good adequate air supply to the intercooler. The last two things that I need to ask you to look at are checks of the throttle position sensor and also the light load advance system. Both of them are functional checks, but also to check that the voltages are correct. Let me just add one final point. We adjusted the throttle position sensor setting for the Sierra. It is now found that it is not necessary, and a completely different check has now been incorporated into the TSB for Escort. It is important to realise that we need to do every check contained within the TSB. You mustn't just select one or other because you think that is the relevant check for that particular concerned vehicle. It is a check that needs to be done from start to finish. Once you have completed the check, it is important to do a road test of anything up to 5 miles. This will hopefully get rid of any carbon build-up, any residue within the EGR system, the intake manifold system, and also the exhaust. Once you have performed all the checks and the road test, we're very confident that we will come to have a vehicle that is not experiencing black smoke.